Hi everyone, I'm David, your UGTA for the semester, and as we near the end, I wanted to take the time to show you guys a really cool thing you can add to your projects in Maya. It mostly has to do with lighting, so today I'm going to walk you through the AI physical sky. So this is something I incorporated for my own final project for this class. I'll go ahead and show you what I did in the final render. The sky dome is what is lighting the entire environment. This is what we're going to try to replicate in my example here. I'm going to walk you through how you can adjust colors, other attributes of the physical sky to get some really cool lighting. So if we go ahead and play this, what is particularly cool about this is that it has a sun, and the sun, as well as the sky itself, has a lot to do with the lighting of your scene. So this is a really cool way to add a background to your environment as well as light the entire thing with just one lighting effect here. So I'll go ahead and show you the file itself in Maya. Take into consideration that when you work with the sky dome here, it will slow down your computer a little bit. As you can see, my Maya is already freaking out on me. But I also have like a bunch of different models that are highly detailed and some clouds here too. So if we go ahead and just select the sky dome, we can see that there are a ton of different attributes here that you can mess with, that you can use to give your scene some really cool effects and just set the stage overall. If we go ahead and render this, so here we can see that we can achieve a really cool lighting effect that mimics something very close to real life. I'm gonna go ahead and open up an example for you guys that's a little more friendly to my computer, and we'll go ahead and walk through the different attributes and how it'll affect your models and how you can build something really cool. Alright, so we're here in our example file, and all I have here is just a pretty simple model of a Mandalorian helmet from Star Wars. I got this model off of CG Trader. It's a great website where you can get free models if you didn't know. So go ahead and go there if you're looking for like last minute models. They have a ton of free assets for you. So this is where I got the Mandalorian helmet. And then I just changed the color a little bit. But right now, the only thing here is the Mandalorian helmet. And if we go ahead and render this, we can see that there's nothing here yet. There's no lighting at all. So we need to go ahead and go to Arnold, go to Lights, and go to Physical Sky. And then doing this will give us a sky dome. You can't see it in the viewport, but when we render here, we can see that we now have something that mimics a sky. We can already see how the helmet is putting down a shadow. So that's pretty cool. And then on the top of the helmet here, we can see that there's a sun, which is also pretty cool, something we can definitely play with. So we can see that we have a bunch of different attributes that we can play with here. Some of these are hard to pronounce, but we got turbidity, we got ground albedo, elevation, azimuth, intensity, sky tint, sun tint, and sun size. So a lot of different things we can customize here to get exactly what we want out of our sky and our lighting. So I'm going to go ahead and open the render view so we can see what's going on with the lighting. I've set up my render view to be here, my viewport to be below it, and our attribute editor right next to it. So we're going to start off with the ground albedo, and this basically can manipulate the color and overall lighting. We'll go ahead and adjust this slider so we can see what it does, and you can see that the higher I go, the lighter the whole scene gets, and then the lower I go, the darker it gets. Now, one thing to note is that you can animate all of these. So you can set keys and create an animation. Next is elevation. And elevation basically controls the positioning of the sun. Like we said earlier, we can see the reflection of the sun on the helmet. And if we position the camera here, we can actually get a glimpse of what the sun looks like. So you probably want to keep it around the middle and mess with it from there. Bring it a little down, a little up, and pay attention to the shadow, because this will affect how far the shadow stretches. So if we want sunset, we can put it around there, and you can see that that shadow stretches out as the sun hits it in the front. So now moving on to azimuth. This is a second option to two ways you can go about this. This basically controls the rotation of the sky dome. If we adjust this slider, the entire sky dome rotates, and depending on where you put this slider, that controls the rotation of the overall sky dome. You can do the same thing by going into the viewport and selecting E, and you can go ahead and control it this way as well. Next is intensity. This one's pretty self-explanatory. The higher we adjust this slider, the brighter it'll get. And same thing if we lower it, the darker it'll get. Now moving on to the sky tint and the sun tint. Now, one thing you gotta understand when working with the sky dome is that you are working with two sources of light. So one being the sky and the other being the sun. Both of these are emitting separate light that have adjustable color attributes. The sky tint, we can manipulate the color, and that color light then emits down on the scene. So we can go in here and let's do this pink color, and we can see that changes the color of the sky, and we can also adjust the brightness of this as well. Now, separate from that is the sun tint, and if we go ahead and add a color to this, can't see it much, but if we put this back to its original color, the sun is emitting this color. If you change it to a more prominent color, you can see that the sky is a separate color from the sun. The sun is emitting this pinkish light, and the sky is emitting white light. Now you can definitely combine these to make some cool different combinations of different colors. Ultimately, it's up to you what you do with this. Now you can always turn off the sun and have the only light source be the sky. You can change this, and this can be your only light source, and the sun will not interfere with that, if that's what you prefer. However, bringing the sun will definitely get you that more realistic outside feel. Using the sun will allow you to get that shadow. I think I like it better, white light here. You can also change the size of your sun. So keep in mind this will affect slightly the lighting in your scene, but it honestly isn't that noticeable. One last thing I wanted to mention is the turbidity, which allows you to adjust the gradient that we see on the sky. If we put our colors back, bringing it down, you're bringing that blue downwards, and then bringing it up will bring out that orange upwards. In the end, it all depends on which colors you have, so feel free to tweak everything accordingly. So overall, this is a really cool thing to use if your project consists of being in an outside area. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and get in contact with me, hit me up. I'm glad to help. This can definitely get tricky messing with all these attributes. Other than that, good luck on the rest of the semester and have a great winter break.